Doesn't it happen to you during the day and you just say, oh, it's just a little stress, it'll go away? Do you really think it can't happen to you? Please welcome to the podium right now a mother, a wife, a busy talent agent with an incredible story of how Go Red for Women saved her life. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sheila Wenzel.
Thank you, Colleen. Now, since she wanted to start this off as an interactive lunch, I want all of you to raise your hand, and if that video this time was the first time that you ever saw that PSA. Raise your hand. Okay. I remember the first time that I saw that video. I was sitting in an audience very much like this. But before I get into that, let me give you what the screenwriter would call the backstory, my backstory. Now, I didn't always live in Los Angeles. I actually grew up on a pig and chicken farm, and I did some gardening, which I wasn't too great at. But at a young age, I had a dream to work in the entertainment industry. So shortly after college, I decided to drive cross-country solo and go for it. But I realized quite quickly that Hollywood did not get the memo that I was coming, nor did I prepare for the difficulties of getting any job in the entertainment industry. Even a bartending and waitress job was difficult, especially for a naive, small-town girl without any connections or friends in a city like Los Angeles. Plus, I was running out of money. So quitting was not an option. Ultimately, I had to live out of my car. But I had to believe that I could make it, even if all the odds were stacked up against me. But finally, I received my first break. I landed a job as an assistant at one of the top talent agencies in Hollywood, Innovative Artists, the place that I still work today. And I got a job as a waitress, part-time waitress, but I really stunk at waitressing, so I no longer waitress. But luckily for me, I love what I'm doing. And after nearly doing it for 20 years now, I still love doing it. But this is where the director would cut to present day, or in my story, October 4th, 2013. I was at the Variety's Power of Women event in Los Angeles, an event I've attended many times before. And I have to admit that the reason that I really enjoy attending this event is because they would give the best gift bags. The newest, hottest, anti-wrinkle, frizz serums, you name it, it's in there. And you know us women, we love our products. But this year was different. This year, they put something extra special in my gift bag. Something that I could share with my 7-year-old daughter, Ava, my husband, and others. I got the gift blank. Elizabeth Banks was there as one of the honorees in recognition of her work with the American Heart Association, and she showed that video, just a little heart attack. Now, I must admit, normally I wouldn't pay attention to something like this. I would use the darkened room to quickly check my cell phone, return emails, and chat with my table mates. But something about the first few seconds of that video caught my attention. I watched, I laughed, and obviously I learned. Now, I probably had heard 100 times before that heart disease is the #1 killer in women, #1 killer in Americans. After all, I should have. Heart disease runs my family. But for whatever reason, it really stuck with me this time. Maybe because it was an entertaining video, not the norm, snooze fest, informational, statistical video of the reason why I should donate to that charity that day. But cut to 2 months and 2 days later came December 6th, 2013. The same scene played out for me this time, I played the role of Elizabeth Banks, and it was real. December 6th, 2013 is the day that I should have died. The day started off like any other day, negotiating deals, organizing things, packing for my highly anticipated mommy and daughter New York Broadway vacation. But something happened, something unexpected. I was on my way to a meeting, and I was only in my car for a few minutes, and I felt so strange that instead of getting on our busiest highway, the 405, I turned around and I called my assistant and I said, push the meeting. By the time I reached my house, the symptoms had intensified. So I texted my assistant, my heart is beating so fast, I don't know what is wrong. Cancel my meeting. He replied, oh, that sucks. It doesn't work for me anymore. As it became more and more difficult for me to breathe, I was wondering what was happening. And I could literally hear Elizabeth Banks' voice in my head. Do I look like someone that would be having a heart attack? I can't be. Lucky for me, my doctor's office was closed, and I had my 20-year-old stepson, Michael, home to take me immediately to the doctor's office. But by the time I reached the doctor's office, my chest was pounding so hard that I felt like it was going to explode out of my chest, and I couldn't breathe. The doctor immediately called 911. It's very important, 911. She quickly put oxygen on me, and my heart was beating at 300 times a minute. That's 5 beats per second. I remember holding on to my doctor's hand, and I kept thinking in my head, did I tell my daughter and my husband before I left that I loved them? After all, it started off like any other day. My doctor shouted to the nurse, where's that ambulance? Nurse replied, 2 minutes out. My doctor said, she doesn't have 2 minutes. Just then, the paramedics burst into the room. There was talk of using paddles, medicine. I felt like I was living a real-life episode of the ER. They gave me the medicine to stop my heart, but it didn't work.